All right, Sunday recap, Week 17 in the books. As always, Kevin Bunk, Michael Merlo coming to you, and Mike will just jump right into this Eagles-Bills game. 13-12 win. Philly goes to Buffalo, picks up a win, and a monster one for the Eagles. Really brutal loss for the Bills, who had the 2-point conversion at the end. I mean, they went for it. Allen had them, and they didn't make it happen. They didn't complete it. I'm stunned.
Allen misses him. That defense, that Philly defense is unbelievable. We'll get to that more later in the show, but it ended up being a good game. It was boring. It was ugly, right? The weather was awful. But look at Philadelphia, who I think a lot of people, including myself, counted them out. And they look like they're a force in the NFC. And for Buffalo, yeah, they lose the division. It was going to be tough anyway. They needed Miami to lose next week. But either way, this game for Buffalo, I mean, it kind of shows the issues that they have, which is they don't have enough playmakers on the outside.
Yeah, they don't. And we've spoken a few times about Bean's inability to really build this team around Allen. They've failed to put a good enough team around Josh Allen year after year. They totally buy in, and the Ravens have done a lot of this too, but they've totally bought into the idea that he can just do everything on offense, and you don't have to put these great playmakers around him. Besides James Cook, who's great, there is nobody there that keeps a defensive coordinator up at night. When Brandon Cooks is someone who's having to make big plays for you down the stretch in 2025, you have done a terrible disservice to your quarterback, to your fan base, to your coaching staff, and I just can't see this team getting to where they want to go again. People like to do the, Mahomes is out of it, the Chiefs are out of it, it's the Bills' year. This is not a top 4 team in the AFC.
No, it's not because of that, and I like to think I was one of those people that thought because they were out of it, this was going to be the Bills' season, but it's not because they don't have enough around them, and Allen tries to do it. I mean, Allen literally looks like he puts on the Superman cape and is going out there and trying to win these games by himself, and he makes plays like he does where he gets sacked for a 20-yard loss. It happens in basically every game that they lose. Doesn't it feel like it happened in the Texan game, the last game they had lost, where he just gets sacked for a 20-yard loss because he's trying to do everything himself?
Yeah, he's the only guy that can do it. If you want a guy that can be Superman, he's the only guy in the league that's able to do it. But when James Cook doesn't have a big game, the Bills don't score points. He's been their X-factor player. It's not even Allen. It's been Cook this year. Years past, it's Allen. But if James Cook doesn't give you the 120-plus and 2 touchdowns, they don't score any points. They didn't score until under 5 minutes to go in this game. And on the other side of things, we won't even talk about it much, and it won't get much play because it's a huge win for the Eagles. Eagles' offense was terrible. Bills' defense has lost them so many games this year, and they hold Philly to 13 points. Hurts goes 13 of 27, under 50% completion for 110 yards and a touchdown. They don't have a rusher over 68 yards. They didn't dominate on the ground, and the Bills can't win this game.
How many yards did they have in the second half, Philadelphia? It wasn't many. Was it 17, I think, Kevin Burkhardt said? And did Hurts end up completing a pass in that second half?
I don't even think so.
I get the weather. The weather is an issue. I understand that they couldn't move the ball. Now, we'll get to Philadelphia later because they're going to be in the overreaction. They're going to be in what we got wrong in terms of takes we had earlier in the year, for me at least. But yeah, that's embarrassing in that second half for Philadelphia's offense. Not be able to move the ball and put the game away. They had so many opportunities to do so. And when you let Josh Allen and the Bills hang around a little bit, they're going to have a chance to win the game late. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the stats on the Eagles' second half offense, but Burkhardt did bring it up. Can't find it right now exactly, but this is a massive win for Philly in terms of perception, how we look at them. The standings, now they're actually playing for higher seeding next week. This was a huge win for them. When we all thought they were going to drop down to 10-6 this week, and they end up 11-5, same record as the Bills. And all of a sudden, I mean, obviously we're going to talk a lot about them in overreactions, but like Philly's right in the mix in the NFC again after
they're going to be 12
wrote them off the last few weeks.
They're going to be 12-5. They're going to be 12-5. I think
they play Washington next week.
I think Washington's next week. So this is a 12-5 football team. They're probably going to be the 2 seed. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the playoff standings right now, but Philly has implications next week for sure because they're right in the mix now at 11-5. And Seattle's 13-3. They won today. We'll get to that. But Philly's going to have a chance to. I mean, Chicago probably goes 1-1 realistically the last 2. So
I think Chicago loses tonight.
I think so too. The Eagles end up the 2 seed though. If Chicago
they
goes 1-1, And
They
Philly,
Chicago beat them. They need Chicago to go 0-2.
yes, they would. So they're probably going to be sit at the 3 seed, but you don't want to drop down any further if you can help it, because
Chicago plays Detroit next week.
3. I'm just looking through this. You'd almost rather, you definitely rather the 2 seed here, because Chicago is going to get Green Bay at home versus playing the Rams or the 49ers or the Seahawks in round 1. Because the 6 seed would be someone from the NFC West.
So you need Chicago to lose this week, which I think they're going to lose tonight. And then you need Chicago to lose to Detroit, who they got put 50 points on.
Yeah, and it's possible. I'd be shocked if Detroit won. I think Chicago's got a good shot tonight, too, to be honest. But we can talk about that game later on. But I think that Detroit next week in Chicago with nothing to play for, they might be looking to the offseason. I don't know. Either way, big win for Philly to keep themselves in this mix. We'll get more Eagles stuff in the overreactions at the end of the episode, but let's bounce to Browns Steelers. I mean, lock of the week. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this game? The second we got on here last week, we were talking about how the Browns were definitely winning this game. I have a few different comments on it, but first of all, did you watch that final sequence of goal-to-go plays for the Steelers? Awful, awful last 4 plays.
And they missed DK there. I mean, DK's presence was missed there in a huge way. They're throwing these routes, and whoever was doing the game said it. They're running these plays for DK with MVS. That's your issue. That's where you're going wrong.
How uninspiring is the group of receivers they trot out at the end of that game? It was Adam Thielen, Scotty Miller, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling in 2025, man.
All the tight ends. Freiermuth making a couple of big plays on that last drive, though.
Muth. Rodgers getting the whole 4th quarter. He's pissed off. He's screaming at guys the whole 4th quarter. Garrett still doesn't break the record in this game. I was shocked. I thought this week was definitely the week. So now he's on watch next week to see if he can grab that full sack.
Strahan still got him.
That BS Strahan record.
Took a dive for him. No, but
took a dive for him.
Pittsburgh, listen, I think if you're a football fan, not a Steelers fan, you're rooting for this because you saw the way the Ravens played last week. A lot to get to with them, but saw the way the Ravens played on Saturday. Like this game, the Steelers aren't this juggernaut. They could easily lose this game to the Ravens this week, even in Pittsburgh. So now it just sets up for an entertaining game. This has to be the Sunday night game, correct? Historic rivalry. This is going to be the one that they put on Sunday Night Football.
I don't know because I don't think it matters.
It does. It's for the division.
Ravens Steelers the tiebreaker.
No, Ravens Steelers next week is for the division.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you're gonna
I was looking at that today, and I was thinking actually we had that conversation last week. Oh wow. So
you flex this one to Sunday, and I think they're gonna flex Carolina, Tampa Bay to the Saturday because they have the Saturday night game.
Yeah, Ravens Steelers is definitely the Sunday night.
So that's the Sunday night game.
Just so easy to market that game too.
I also don't want to watch Baker Mayfield anymore. So
Carolina, Tampa Bay doesn't matter.
No, it does.
I thought Carolina definitely clinched the division today.
Two division
Did they beat Tampa
games.
Twice?
No, they play Tampa this week.
Oh yeah, I'm so stupid, man. I'm all over the place today with mainly with all these draft scenarios. Like I've been. You're
focused on Jets, Pats, Drake, May. That's what you were focused on today.
That was a great game today. So Panthers, Bucks, easy Saturday night.
Yes,
easy
Saturday night, and then you get the Sunday night, which is going to be unbelievable.
But if San Francisco wins tonight, San Fran Seattle's for the 1 seed next week.
Is it?
Yes, because San Fran already. Well, I don't know what would happen if the Bears had. No, it wouldn't matter because San Fran plays them tonight. Because San Fran would be going to sweep Seattle for the division next week. They beat them in week 1.
And they would have the same record. But what the Rams would have to lose, no?
No, it wouldn't matter because if they all finish with the same record, San Fran has the tiebreaker over both. Because they split with the Rams and they're going to have the better NFC West record because if they beat the Seahawks.
The Rams are 11-4. Well, 12-4 next week. Right.
It might be Pittsburgh Saturday night. Tampa Bay, honestly, I think everybody would agree at the NFL office, put them at 1 on Sunday or put them early on Saturday if you're doing 2 games.
That's your marquee 1 o'clock game.
And then San Francisco, Seattle's got to be 8:00 on Sunday.
That's Sunday night. Look at you. There we go. Now you're back.
I'm back.
Now you're back.
I'm dialed in.
NBC should hire you. Peacock should hire you and be like, this is the guy that's going to do the scheduling.
They should. Then there will be 8 graphics for Ravens, Steelers. Like, Steelers clinched the division last week, and this game has no implications.
That's 100% the Sunday night game then. So we're rooting for the Niners tonight. 100% rooting for the Niners. Because all this 100%. Talk about how great the Seahawks are, and how great the Rams are all season long, how funny would it be if San Francisco comes in here and steals the division and steals the 1 seed?
I picked them as my 1 seed in the beginning of the season, so I'm hoping that they come through for me because everything else looks ugly on those preseason predictions.
I went through it the other day. For me, at least.
Mine's bad.
It wasn't good.
Mine's bad. Really bad.
The Falcons in the playoffs. That's bad.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't go that far. Mine was actually sick. Mine was great.
Yeah.
What else do we have to hit here? Done on that game.
Shador,
like, is Shador the guy next year?
No.
I think he starts the season as their starter.
I don't think so. I think
they're they're out of the top 5 in the draft now, probably.
When we go through the draft scenarios, I think we're going to get to a point where there may not be any teams that take a quarterback. And I think Las Vegas is a very interesting conversation, which we can have tonight or another day. I don't think so.
They have to.
You're going to bring a quarterback into that situation with that team. You're gonna.
How else are they getting one?
But if they're going to fire, let's say they're going to fire Pete Carroll and the general manager, they fire everybody. They should also be able to fire Brady, but that's a discussion for another day. But either way, you fire everybody and you bring in a general manager that says, I'm not listening to Brady. I don't want Mendoza. I need to rebuild this team. I need as many draft picks as possible because this roster makes me want to throw up in my sleep. I'm going to just get as many draft picks as I can to try and rebuild this roster before I go get a quarterback.
I agree with you, but I think the blatant tank, let's just talk Giants Raiders here too right now. I think the blatant tank by them tells me both of these guys are back next year. Carroll, Spytek, both back.
I don't know how this is possible. Like I would fire everybody, including the equipment staff. I mean, that's how bad this is. I do the same thing with the Giants too. Like everybody. I don't want the stench of this organization from this regime to carry over. Everybody's gone.
Right now, you have a guy in Mark Davis running this team who I don't really think cares that much about the Raiders winning. I think he loves this Vegas life. I think he loves the stadium, loves everything he has going on right now. Got the young girlfriend. He's one of the poorest owners in the NFL right now. He's paying Josh McDaniels, John Gruden, Antonio Pierce, and Pete Carroll. Is he really stepping up to pay a 5th coach next year and not get a quarterback to continue selling some tickets?
I'm going to tell you something. I have a rule change idea. We're completely off the wagon today. Rule change idea. If you have a certain record in a 10-year span, the owner should be forced to sell the team. I think that's the only way you help parity and get teams out of the dumpster. It's not draft picks. It's ownership change. I think you should be forced to sell your team if you have we'll come up with the number, a certain record in a 10-year span.
Yeah, I mean, like, how about the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 15 years? Woody Johnson has to sell the team at some point during that because you have major market teams that have no fans in the seats after Halloween.
It's awful. Giants.
MetLife
Jets.
is empty. For the Jets and Giants, MetLife is completely empty after the 5th home game of the year, 6th home game of the year.
Their home games for the road team. It was a home game for New England today.
But even it was a home game, and the problem with that being a home game isn't even that it was a home game. It was that only the lower bowl was full still. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even 90,000 Patriots fans showed up and filled the place.
But I think that's a MetLife issue too. Like, the stadium,
it's too big.
It's awful. It's an awful place to be.
The location's terrible. The
stadium sucks. The food sucks. You know what? Underrated. Food stinks at MetLife. I'll tell you that.
Food, for the most part, food is not good at MetLife. I agree.
Like, you go to Yankee Stadium, you go to Citi Field. At least I know for a fact I'm getting a good meal at that game.
Yeah. You're not getting anything good. I had a chance to go sit field level today at the Jet game, and I had a chance after that to sit suite at the Jet game today. No money for the tickets. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me.
How
to
much?
Go to that game
What's
today.
the price? If I gave you $500 and you got everything,
I would honestly need the conversation, the negotiation starts at $300. The
Okay.
negotiation.
Okay.
$300. I'm not going yet, but we can start talking. We can start having a conversation about it. Anything else, not worth it.
You would have got to see the MVP today. He's going to win the MVP based on this game. The stats look
I don't think so. Stafford's are still better.
Unless Stafford has a big game, I'm feeling this this annoying side of the NFL MVP discussion crashing down on me right now.
Can I give you my unpopular, because we're so far off the track today?
Yeah.
Can I give you my unpopular NFL opinion that maybe not everyone will agree with? I don't know. It was fun. I'm going to sound like such a hater. It was funny at first. The Drake May social media admiration is so annoying. It's so bad. It has nothing to I actually genuinely love watching him play. I think this is tough for people to understand that the Jets have been so bad for so long. I literally don't care about their rivals anymore. It doesn't mean a thing to me. But at some point, I'd love for it to be meaningful again. Drake May was funny for a month. Now it's just every comment on every post. I mean, Drake May lover, funny account. But that's now why is everybody doing that?
Well, we've been wishing for the death of Bakemas for how long now? I mean,
and it seems like a good girl, like a great woman, and Michael May, not trying to disrespect her, but the comment section on Bakemas is it's the worst brain rot on social media. And there's a lot of brain rot.
There's grown men saying thank you for saving my life. I've read them. It's disgusting. Your husband is the reason why I live.
Yeah, it's terrible. And he'll pop into a video.
Yeah, I see this comment. It's all good.
Yeah, Matt was a good one there. It's true. I mean,
oh yeah, it's fine. But we're having the conversation. I have to bring everything.
Mike's least favorite part of MetLife isn't that he sees his team lose by 45. It's that he can't get something good to eat.
Well, at least if I could go, I'd get something good to eat. And the beer's $15.
That's what it's a great point though, because when I say to people
disrespectful about the Mets.
When I say no, I'm going to go the opposite route. I know if I go to a Yankee or Mets game, I've got the Yankee games that they've lost 12-1, and I love the food I ate. And I was like, you know what? Fun time with the boys. We went for 8 innings and got out. Worth it. $20 ticket. MetLife, it's $40, $50 ticket for the worst seat there, $70 to park, and then I am not even eating food I like, and I'm just miserable because the game completely sucks. And then I got to go back. For a Long Island Jet fan, there's no worse place on earth than MetLife Stadium.
There's not. You got the Mall of America there, though, if you want to get a Mr. Beast burger.
I would never go there.
Yeah, I've never been.
Would never, ever go there.
Heard there's a water park in there.
Oh, yeah? I won't be taking a look.
We got to move on.
What game do we have next here? Well, what'd you think of the Giants-Raiders tank bowl here? Your Giants perspective on this. I know a lot of Giants fans are pissed today.
Yep.
Because they win that game, they lose the number 1 pick. I really firmly believe that, first of all, the more frustrating part of the day is the Joe Shane thing this morning, which we'll talk about, that he's probably back from Ian Rappaport. But I thought they needed to win today because you do not want to be with Jackson Dart, the worst team in the NFL in his rookie year, clean house all the way, maybe keep the general manager, and you're not getting the first pick for the quarterback. You're not. Best player in the draft. That's who the Giants are going to get at 2. Best player in the draft, whoever it is, when it becomes clear in a few weeks. That's who the Giants are going to get. I don't think that's the worst scenario for them.
Yeah, I also think this team, like the Jets, like the Raiders, needs so much help that I think if they had the number 1 overall pick and there was a team that was willing to trade you a lot for that number 1 overall pick, like this roster, I think it was Evan Roberts that said this, Kevin. They have the second highest paid defense in the entire league. We talked about how much money Joe Shane spent this offseason on players on the defensive side of the ball, and they're the 30th ranked defense in the league. So this is bad hiring by Dable and Shane Bowen. This is guys not developing. These are guys that got paid that stink, so bad talent evaluation. All across the board, this is terrible for this team. So, yes, I forgot where I was going with this point. I just wanted to make that point, though. But either way, getting a win today, fine. They need so much help. That's what I wanted to say, that I think being able to trade out of this pick, that was a nice save, to get more picks, that would have helped. But again, you're not getting a quarterback. I ultimately agree with you. I know I said that the Giants would consider it. Of course, Ian Rappaport says that today because I was right. But either way, they were going to trade out if they had number one.
I don't think they can trade back with a really good offer now. Like, I don't think it's worth trading back. I know a lot of people who are saying there's still the potential to trade back and get a really nice return. I just don't see it in this draft.
They would need
guys
more.
That are in it.
They would need more to go in, but still, I agree with you. We can have another discussion on another show. I don't think it's a lock that Mendoza goes one to the Raiders, but we'll discuss that.
I think it's a lock that a quarterback goes one.
We'll see.
I just can't imagine the Raiders sit there. We'll do it another show, though. You're right. Jaguars, Colts. Jags hold on here. I think they won by, 6? 23-17 was the final. Another L for the Phillip Rivers Colts. They're now 8-8. They were 8-2 when they made the Sauce Gardner trade, or they were 7-2. They won the first game. They've now lost 7 straight. And the Colts are out of the playoffs as of yesterday, but now 8-8, probably going to finish the year 8-9. What a disaster. And
how
what
good
a great
are you
win for
feeling?
Jacksonville. I feel terrible, dude. Like, I didn't even watch my team play today. I didn't even watch the Jets play today.
You feel good about the future.
2-10. It was 35-0 after the first drive. And what? Oh, like Carnell Tate, that's going to add a win. Woo! Like, no, it's not.
I think I have more optimism than you do.
It's easy when you don't have to be a fan of them.
I'm saying with my team, I have no optimism.
Yeah, well,
you have
a little bit of a quarterback.
But I feel more optimistic about the Jets because they have picks. I think they have the right people. I think they have the right people.
No, Glenn's terrible.
Is Glenn one and done?
No, but I would.
You would.
I would. There's no one to hire. I think he does. I don't think you could have expected any coach to have this team like in the right place. But dude, this is the worst Jets team maybe ever. Like the Brady Cook run of games here might be the worst Jets team. They set the record today for point differential in the month of December, -106. They haven't caught an interception. Like Aaron Glenn is a lock to be fired in the next year and a half. There's no way he makes it another 2 years because think about their team right now. They're going to stink next year. They need 11 new players on defense. They have no quarterback, and they don't have the top pick. I don't see how they get a quarterback better than Kirk Cousins in next year. I mean, that's the reality of their situation right now. Is Malik Willis going to come in and win you 10 games? I don't think so.
I'm not asking you to win 10 games, but I'm asking you to win like 6 or 7 games. I'm
not asking you to look a little competent.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for. But
they're going to be a 3-win team this year. They're worse than they were last year, which is a huge problem for me.
But you traded 2 of your best players.
I know, but still, like you cannot come in and look so much worse. They don't do anything well. I can't. This is the biggest problem with Glenn. I can't name one thing that I think he does well.
Well, you think about it. You had a guy, and I'm not saying Rodgers was this great player and that they shouldn't have gotten rid of him. But you had a quarterback that's going to be in the playoffs this year with another team. You brought in Justin Fields, who's the worst quarterback I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. Now it's Brady Cook. And you traded 2 of your best players on defense. So I don't know how you could have expected Aaron Glenn to do anything more than any better than last year was. As bad as the coaching was last season, because that was putrid.
And I'll say this. I think for me, philosophically, like I think it would just be nonsense to fire him. But I just don't want them to be resetting this a year from now again, especially if they have any motivation to do something drastic for a quarterback this offseason.
Yeah, I don't think they do, though. At least you're still jagging off there where your Jags. You and
jagging off. Trevor Lawrence, not the greatest day. MVP run over. Great run for T-Law, but they get a win. And I don't know, man. This team, I don't know how far I want to go with Jacksonville. But right now, it looks like they're probably getting the Chargers in week 1 of the playoffs. Round 1 will probably be Chargers at Jaguars again. Happened a few years ago, and the Chargers were up by 4 scores, and they lost. I would not want to go there and play in round 1, but I think Jacksonville wins a playoff game. I don't know if they go any further.
Yeah, they probably win a playoff game. The Chargers is way too banged up. They're way too banged up here, so I think they'd win a playoff game if that was the first round matchup, but Yeah, like how do you trust? Like when we're looking at the AFC teams, who do you trust the most? I feel like Jacksonville, as much as I never trust them in my life, I feel like your trust levels are very low with basically everybody.
Right now, I'd have to. It's weird because I probably would rank them third. Like if we're just talking about specifically, who do I trust more, the Jaguars or XYZ? I trust them more than Denver after what they did to them a few weeks ago in Denver. I trust them more than Houston. The door is really open for New England.
I think the door's open for Houston. I think so
too. I was just going to say I would go New England, Houston, Jacksonville.
Yeah. I think Jacksonville will probably win the division, but Houston's the team that I do not want to play. We were talking about it yesterday with a group of people. Like, that defense can beat anybody. Doesn't matter. Like, they played Josh Allen, who's the most athletic quarterback in the league, one of the best athletes we've ever seen play quarterback, and they shut him down. You know they can beat anybody in any kind of football game. So Houston would be the team in the AFC that I think I trust the most, to be honest with you.
The Texans, if Stroud has a couple moments of a game, like against the Chargers, first 2 drives, great deep ball touchdowns. If he just has 2 or 3 of those, nobody's going to beat him.
You spot him 14 points early. Do you think you're going to win that game?
What I worry about with them is whether or not they have the run game to hold second half leads in the playoffs, especially on the road. Because, I mean, if they're up by 4 points early in the fourth quarter, 10 minutes to go, get the ball at their own 20, do you trust them to be able to run out the clock while moving the chains to not give the offense another 3 chances to kick 2 field goals?
Right.
That's where I worry about Houston. But I'd worry about a couple other teams in that same way. Like, that's where Denver comes into play, is they've made so many plays late where I'd say, you know what, I trust them in the fourth quarter to move the ball and to get stops on defense.
The 2 teams I would trust the most is Denver and Houston, because I know you, like you mentioned, Denver's great late in games, and they've had long sustained drives late in games where they've just killed that clock. I would go Denver, Houston. Those are the 2 teams. I think if Denver played Houston right now, I think Houston would probably win, but it's a close game. It's a 3-point spread, 3.5-point spread in Denver.
Yeah. That's tough.
Maybe closer, maybe a little closer. I don't know.
It's tough. Next game, so we can get to overreactions. We'll have more conversation there. Real quick, just on Dolphins Bucks. I mean, like, Tampa Bay stinks. And I thought this eliminated them from the playoffs today, but Carolina lost, so it doesn't. That's why I was all thrown off.
Yeah.
But they stink, man. Like, Todd Bowles has to get fired if they lose next week. I mean, if they somehow win, I still wouldn't even keep him, but.
So we're going to have an 8-9 team in the playoffs, correct?
No,
we could.
8-8 right now?
Yeah, well, no, they're 7-9.
They're 7-9. Carolina's 8-8.
Yeah, so if Tampa
Carolina
Bay
wins, 9-7 gets in.
Yes, if we have 9-8, and then we have an 8-9 if Tampa wins. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's like, how did this happen? How does this happen with these weapons? How does it happen with Baker Mayfield, who played so well? I don't know if we said this when we were talking about guys that we're going to find out they were playing injured, basically most of the year from an injury that happened earlier in the year. But Baker's got to be one of those guys. Like, he has to be hurt, right? Like, I understand Baker's not the most talented guy in the world. There's no track record there, but he has to have something going on that he's playing this poorly. And the coaching's terrible.
Coaching's really bad. If I were them, I'm firing Bowles. I'm bringing in Kubiak. I think Kubiak would do a really nice job here. This would be a great job for him.
That's a good pull. That's a great pull.
That's not
a bad job. That's not a bad job for Kubiak to go to. You have a lot already in place there.
And if I'm keeping Bowles, I'm getting aggressive for a quarterback, because I just don't think. And you got to change the coordinator. It just didn't work this year with Guzzard. You just got to find There's going to be a lot of guys available that are offensive play callers. I think that a lot of teams are going to be calling Dable the second the season ends next week.
Yep.
If McDaniel gets fired, if Mike McDaniel gets fired, he immediately becomes the hottest commodity in the NFL over like the coaches. I mean, I think that there's reason to say I'd hire this coach. Like, I'd hire Hafley over Shula because Mike McDaniel's his offensive coordinator. That's how hot of a commodity I think McDaniel would be.
I don't think McDaniel gets fired, but I agree with you.
either.
And I think he'd get a job. Like, I think he'd get a head coaching job.
I think he'd get one next year. I think he'd have to wait 1 year for it.
Okay.
He
might not want one.
If McDaniel got fired, would you do it with the Giants, with the other candidates that are out there? Where would he rank for you?
He'd be high. He'd be like 1 or 2 for me.
For me,
I still think McCarthy's my guy.
Yeah, McDaniel's, he's going to be a valuable piece, though. Seahawks, Panthers, speaking of Kubiak, he's in this game, gets a win. Seahawks pulled away in this. It was close early. Panthers continue to confuse, but Seattle's much better. This is what it should have looked like, and Carolina's got to go for the division next week.
Yeah, that Seattle defense is unbelievable. I mean, I know we're not playing, an all-star team on offense here, but that defense is unbelievable. They're unbearable to play against. They make plays, they fly around. So Seattle, going to be an incredibly tough out in the postseason. Would not want to go play there against that defense. And for Carolina, they're able to keep it close for 3/4 of this game. And then in that fourth, late in the third, early in the fourth, you have Seattle pull away. So the run game went, the run game finally got going there. Charbonnet had over 100 yards. And Seattle, when you're running for 100 yards and you have JSN and Darnold making plays, you're not going to beat them. So
I don't know what their value would be, but I'm trading one of Walker, Charbonnet, probably Walker in the offseason. I just think he actually is probably a free agent, so they have to tag him. He's part of this great running back class, so you might not even trade him. You might just let him walk. Charbonnet, this is what I need to see more from Seattle, is the 25 rushes, 30 rushes a game to 2 backs, but one of them is getting 22 plus, and you're running for over 100 yards. I think Darnold needs that, and it's not a knock on him. Every quarterback does. They just don't do it enough for him. I think when they're trying to force him into situations, the Vikings did it last year too, where he has to throw 30 times to win every week, is very unfair, and it's a disservice to your team. I think they need to just go Charbonnet, ride the hot hand, and let him roll into the playoffs. Now, Carolina's run defense isn't very good, but still,
every
nice to
team
see them get a ground game.
Every team, every quarterback wants to do that. Every team, every quarterback, if they are able to run the ball 20 to 25 times and have success and make it easier on your quarterback, you're going to do that because that's going to lead to winning. We know this. And Kubiak comes from the Shanahan tree. Am I correct there?
Yeah.
He coached under Shanahan. We know what
I guess he comes from like his dad's tree, but like they're all intertwined. Kubiak, right. Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak. Yeah.
They want to run the ball. Like they want to do is run the ball. The offense starts with running the football. And that's what Seattle has to do.
They have to do it. You can't see them getting to a Super Bowl throwing. You really can't.
No.
It's not because they can't. It's because if the play action game's not working for Darnold, they have nothing in the passing game against really good teams.
And it's a great point with Minnesota last year. They went away from the run late in the year.
Yeah. All right. Overreaction time. And then we'll do a Sunday Night Football pick. One right and wrong. Got about 5 minutes left here. Your first overreaction, Mike, while I pull mine up.
First overreaction. We discussed this over text. I think we called about it earlier in the week. Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. The Ravens may be choosing between Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh this offseason. And I made a video earlier in the week about Lamar, how he doesn't show up in these games where his team needs him the most because he's injured. But I think if there is an issue between the coach and the quarterback, I think the Ravens should choose John Harbaugh. I think they should try and see what they can get from Lamar Jackson. Lamar, again, he is banged up a lot. That's his play style. Don't see him having a long career of being an elite top 5 quarterback. I think it's coming to an end at some point in the next couple of years here. See what you can get for him. And I know Harbaugh has his issues. I know they blow leads. I understand this. But he's been there for a long time. You've done a lot of winning with him. And you go to Green Bay, again, against Malik Willis, who played really well with a backup quarterback yourself, and you're able to go in there and get a big win to keep your season alive. That's the difference right there. That's the difference between a bad head coach and a really good head coach, is being able to go to a tough place to play against a good defense and win a football game. I'd keep Harbaugh over Lamar because of those reasons.
I think also, like just on last night's game, to go devil's advocate on Harbaugh, they should have clinched this division a few weeks ago against Pittsburgh. Why did they stop giving Derrick Henry the ball in that game? I mean, last night, he shows you he's still got it. I know he's had a couple fumbles this year in untimely situations. That's no reason to bench him against Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. Great player. The Lamar stuff is weird this past week, especially Nick Wright goes on Bill Simmons and he says, do they even speak to each other? I'm not sure they even talk to each other frequently as a quarterback head coach should. That was weird. And then this stuff comes out about Lamar, really negative rumors about him and the type of leader he is for the Ravens. Who knows how true it is, but it's out there now. And that's going to become a talking point. So a good overreaction. My first overreaction, I kind of hit it already. Todd Bowles got to go. Todd Bowles has had a nice little run here in Tampa, but he has to go. This is, I hope they lose next week. I really do. I'd rather see Carolina in a playoff game, half empty stadium for Carolina in a playoff game.
It's filled today.
Yeah, it's almost full. This time of year, after the great Clemson show is finished up, the Panthers start drawing a little bit. But like, I just can't watch this team in the playoffs, Tampa Bay. I don't think Bowles is any good. You look at what Liam Cohn has done in year one in Jacksonville and what Canales has now done in the division at Carolina, and you can see that Bowles is a real product of his offensive play caller, and he needs to have an offensive play caller that's really good to have success. Like, there's coaches that don't need that. Mike Tomlin obviously has not had that. It's been a problem at times, but there are guys who don't need an elite play caller to have success, and I think Bowles absolutely does, and he has a lot of trouble finding one because he's coached, I think, 9 seasons as a head coach. He's had 9 coordinators. He's fired 5 of them or 6 of them. 1's retired. 2 have gotten head coaching jobs. Like, he came right in and fired Leftwich immediately, a guy that won a Super Bowl and Bruce Arians praised. So I'm not saying he was wrong to do that, but I would get rid of Bowles and just go jump on Kubiak right away.
There you go. Would you keep Baker if you brought in Kubiak?
I would. I think that he could work with him. I think Kubiak's done a great job with quarterbacks.
Okay, I agree. I think
even the Saints last year were way better than we give him credit for the last 2 years offensively.
Yeah, I think Kubiak would work with Baker. Second overreaction. The Eagles. I wrote them off. If we were going to do a where we were wrong this week, the Eagles, because I wrote them off. I said they were going to blow this thing up. This defense can play with anybody. This defense is one of the 3 in the entire league. And in terms of the NFC playoff picture, I understand the Rams are the hot team. Everybody loves the Rams, and Seattle's got a great defense, and they could play. But the Eagles are a team that I do not want to play. I don't want to play that defense. The offense, that they need to get that offensive line healthy. If they can get that offensive line somewhat healthy here, and they can start running the football effectively, they are going to be dangerous in the postseason. I feel like the last few weeks that they played a couple of really bad teams. Now they go to Buffalo and get a win. I think this is starting to set up for another late season Eagles run where they're playing deep into the postseason with a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this was my second overreaction also, so I'll just go right in, piggyback off yours. But Philadelphia, you could argue they're a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC, just to get out of the NFC and get there, because I think that the other teams and the way the bracket's going to be formed, especially if Philly can get the 2 seed, it's going to be a gauntlet to get through that other side of the bracket where the Rams are going to be, the Seahawks are going to be, the 49ers would be, whoever the 1 seed is. That's a gauntlet to get through. It's 2 NFC West teams on that side. And then for Philly, you're going to get Green Bay round 1, try to rev up into whoever the beat up, wounded, limped into the second round NFC West team was. You're going to get the worst of the 3. I think that's a great way for Philadelphia to get right back to the NFC Championship. And gosh, if they get a home game against one of these 3 teams, that's trouble. I mean, I could see Philly. They wouldn't be mine, but I think you could make a real case for them as the NFC favorite, because we talk about this all the time with the AFC. The NFC has just as many question marks.
100%. 100%.
Last overreaction.
Malik Willis could play. Malik Willis can start for a lot of teams in this league with the right coaching staff. I'm not saying that he should be the starter in Green Bay, but again, you put him with a guy like Matt LaFleur, like, you can win football games with this guy. You cannot watch that Saturday night game and put any blame on Malik Willis. He did everything he could. Mm-hmm. Is it his fault that Josh Jacobs ran for 3 yards in the entire game, or that they were dropping passes, or they couldn't stop the run? Like, Malik Willis can play in this league. The Titans clearly botched something with his development. You see him with wide receivers and no running game, and he's doing everything he possibly can on the field. Like, I don't know. You sent me a funny tweet last night saying the Jets are going to pay him, $60 million over 3 years this offseason. Like, he is going to get paid this offseason. I think he's going to be a starter somewhere.
That's Cleveland or the Jets. I mean, just all over it. Because if the Raiders are going to go Mendoza with the first pick, who doesn't get Dante Moore? Both teams have the cap space to make this happen and the draft picks to put a team around him. You can't tell me, at least with Cleveland and with the Jets, as bad as they are, their healthy roster, insert Malik Willis, insert their draft picks, insert the rest of the money they spend in free agency. You can't tell me that's not a team that fans can at least feel good about before the season starts and say, you know what? I see what they're doing here. There's a chance this works.
And we're not saying Willis is going to be this franchise guy, but could he be a bridge that you could potentially get to the playoffs with when the contract runs out?
Would you win a couple division games with him? Maybe win 8 games in a season?
We're not asking for much from him, but yeah, he could play. So I love it. I love it.
And it gives you a chance to evaluate your coaching staffs too. How good are they actually?
And the rest of your roster.
This guy was able to play in Green Bay. Our coach was able to get him up to speed a little bit here, and he can do a little bit of everything. So it's a good take. I also have a Green Bay overreaction to wrap it up. I don't think this team can win a playoff game. They just got rolled through last night in the game that they were still alive in the division. They could have still conceptually won the North because Chicago plays San Francisco and Detroit the last 2 weeks. Green Bay could have came out and won that game last night and had to beat Minnesota next week, while Detroit has to beat Chicago. Very possible to get one of the top 3 seeds in the NFC. Instead, they get absolutely rolled through by a Ravens team without Lamar Jackson. I know Jordan Love didn't play, but as a guy who's praised Jordan Love this year, I think this is 2 weeks in a row with Malik Willis now that it doesn't matter to me. Like, I just don't. The Bears game was such a choke job that I don't care that Love didn't play. Willis made enough plays for the Packers to hold on in that game. And Willis played good on Saturday, and they didn't even have a chance.
That's a great point. Again, can't hate on Malik Willis. I can't at all. I love it.
I will say, though, on the topic of them winning a playoff game potentially, right now the matchup's great. If they go to Chicago, that's a fun NFL playoff game for fans in the first round to say, third time that these guys are playing. Let's see if the Bears can actually pick up this playoff win against their biggest rival.
Yeah, it is. I can't see it with the injuries they've had.
No, me either.
And I don't even think it's like a knock on them. I just think at this point, like, you're asking a lot for them to go on the road and win a playoff game.
I mean, I literally think they've lost their 2 best players. I mean, how many teams in the league could lose? I mean, Kraft and Parsons. How many teams can lose their 2 best players? And we sit here at postseason time and say, yeah, they're still a real contender. It's not a knock on the team they built or anything.
And Love's banged up late here. Yeah, 100%. And you're probably losing your defensive coordinator too. So it'll be interesting to see how they replace that, because that's been an issue in the past.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Sunday Night Football prediction.
I think the Niners win by a touchdown tonight. Really like the Niners here. I feel like a lot of people riding high on the Bears, as they should. I think I'm rooting for the Bears this postseason. Love the story. Love Ben Johnson. But I think the Niners get a big win, and they set themselves up to potentially be the 1 seed next week.
I think the Niners win. I'd pick them to win. But I think Chicago's going to surprise some people with how many points they can put up tonight. That probably means they'll lay a complete egg. But I think that Johnson, in his run offense, is a perfect match for Saleh and San Fran's defense. But I do think that Purdy, if he can just control the ball, and no Kittle tonight, is a huge blow for them. But if he could just control the ball here and not turn it over too many times, they should get the win. All right.
Here we go.
Good luck tonight, Niners, because all odds are against you. We both picked you to win. The whole universe.
We've been right. We've been right a couple weeks in a row here, though.
We've been rolling a little bit. But that means we're due. That means we're due. All right. Good app. We'll be back next week for week 18. Maybe I'm thinking about going right after the Sunday night football game, but we have to see the schedule first. We'll see what it looks like. Either way, appreciate you watching. Subscribe, like it. We'll see you next week. And Happy New Year, because we won't see you before then. So have a safe New Year. And in 2026, we'll be back with the Week 18 recap. That'll be the first thing we have to kick it off. Again, appreciate you watching all season. And Maddie's ready for Mike to go. So, or Billy actually ready for Mike to go. So we're gonna roll out here. Billy, thanks so much, man, for jumping on at the end of the show here. One of our big fans.
In the show.